What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about post-workout recovery, and we've beaten a dead horse with this over and over again. I think you guys understand the recovery aspect. You're like, okay, Jerry, I got to recover to grow. I get it. Fucking said it a million times. But we go a little more in depth here as to how it works. So I got this all kind of typed out so we can kind of go through it. But in the world of muscle protein synthesis or muscle growth, there are the most important times or the most effective times, effective and least effective times. Now, what do I mean by that? There are points where you have certain amounts that are not that much at all muscle protein synthesis, and there are certain amounts that are extremely high amounts. Now, they have found through studies, and this was done, who did this one? This is adopted from Drummond ETL 2009 for the reference. This is stating that nutrient ingestion after resistance exercise, okay? So post-workout meal is the single most important meal for muscle gains. Not pre, not intra, not the rest of the day. The post-workout. Now, it's not necessarily that post-workout anabolic window, which I don't really believe is there. However, I do believe that the faster you get the nutrients in your body, the faster you recover, the faster you build muscle, and that's a fact. Now, we're gonna run through a couple different things here. We're gonna go with the post-workout right now. So post-workout meal is the most important for amping up protein synthesis after a workout. Muscle cells are primed for protein synthesis in the hours after training, but only if the right nutrition is there. Okay? So if you're doing fucking something stupid with your nutrition, you're not going to make as good a gains as you possibly could. To make more muscle, we need protein, and the type and timing of protein intake during the post-workout period has been shown to control the overall increase in protein synthesis that occurs immediately after training. Importantly, activation of protein synthesis in the short term seems to ultimately determine how well we respond to training in the long term, meaning that post-workout meal will dictate how well you respond the rest of the day to that training that you did earlier. Interesting, right? The window is only open for a short time. Now, they're not talking about the anabolic window. They're talking about the recovery window, okay? I think that the anabolic window would be kind of bullshit because recovery has to take place before any kind of muscle growth takes place. So I think that, to dumb it down a little bit, I think what happened is in the past, somebody just took that recovery period, clipped it out, did away with it, went directly to the part where you grow muscle, moved it over to the post-workout and said, now we have an anabolic window that you have to do this so that you can grow. And I think that there was some science based on that. Some bro science came in with it. Some dumbing down came in with it. But the bottom line is workout, intense workout, post-workout nutrition, recovery, then muscle growth. Like, that's how it takes place, right? So now it says, in long-term gains in muscle can be compromised if protein intake is delayed. Not carbohydrates, protein. Okay, we're going to get through that in a minute. Protein intake is delayed for as little as 2 hours after training, which means that after 2 hours, it'll actually take you longer to recover, technically grow muscle, because you can't grow muscle until you've recovered, than if you had gotten the meals in earlier. Okay, you guys are following. Miss it and you may not grow at all. Okay, now I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but that's what these scientists are saying. Now, there's been considerable research done on exactly what type of nutrition is needed to maximally achieve protein synthesis. While we'll discuss later the specifics, it's important to know that only the essential amino acids have been shown to activate protein synthesis, with leucine in particular being the most important for turning on the protein synthesis machinery. Which means leucine turns it on, and you're not going to have an essential amino acid formula or even the BCAAs without leucine in it, right? Turns it on, but you need those other aminos, all of the essential amino acids, to be effective, okay? Okay, so how much protein? They said that the studies have done with 20 grams of protein, and increasing it beyond that didn't really show faster muscle growth or faster recovery, but it wasn't done on people that were like bodybuilders, right? Extremely hard training individuals that push their bodies to a certain limit. So they're thinking, and the scientists can't prove this yet, but these are actually scientists saying this because it's a theory or it's a hypothesis. Some people would call it bro science because it hasn't been proven by science, but bodybuilders and hard training athletes like on that level, like the elite level, may actually be able to utilize more than 20 grams and see more results. Now, that being said, the carbs, right? This is really interesting. Now, the carbohydrates are not needed for the post-workout recovery, okay? That's what they're saying. Carbohydrates are not needed. So it's only leucine and essential amino acids, essentially, which start and create the muscle protein synthesis that eventually will grow your new muscle mass. Now, the carbs. Here's the deal. Many people, I think, got roped into the post-workout high carb meal or, super sugars, high sugars to create insulin so that, because insulin is a drug used by bodybuilders now, that's a whole nother like thing, to boost muscle gains. In, I'm not really sure where that came from, because insulin is the most anabolic hormone. Well, it's really leucine, essential amino acids. That's what causes it. Now, insulin does, however, here's an interesting thing. Carbohydrates release insulin, and insulin does prevent the degradation or protein breakdown. So a lot of those guys that were like, oh yeah, I'll just take all that food in, the insulin, they got fatter. They always get fatter, taking in all those carbohydrates after their workout. And they're like, I don't understand. Like, they should be just growing muscle. Here's the deal. Those bodybuilders, and this is, I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but those bodybuilders actually take insulin before their workout. The insulin's actually working during their workout, which prevents protein breakdown, muscle breakdown during the workout. This is part of how they use the drugs. It's not after the workout. Now, some of the guys do use it pre and post workout, two different ways. Now, you're looking at guys that are also taking stuff like thyroid and growth hormone and stuff like that. But I think that in general, the way that insulin was being used by dextrose and sugars and all that stuff, and grape juice to use with your creatine, shuttles it in faster, was a play on or a takeoff of the individuals using insulin as a drug and trying to figure out how to harness that naturally, what these guys were doing with drugs. However, it doesn't work like that. So hopefully this straightens out a few things for you guys. And I'm just going to go more and more in depth with this, because for years I've been mixing my own post-workouts, and I've used my own post-workouts, and people have seen me do it. I tried eating meals. For me, it was just hard to get the food down. I don't feel like eating after my workout. And my recovery was slower. My recovery was actually absolutely slower. So I was mixing my own supplements. Well, that's the big deal. The big deal is the post-workout, not necessarily the pre-workout, not necessarily the intra-workout, because if you're busting your ass in the gym and you're fucking killing it in there and you're taking pre-workout and you're all stemmed out of your skull and you're fucking doing 100 rep sets and all this shit, and you're taking your intra-workout and you're fucking blah, 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 and then after your workout you just fuck off because you're like, whatever, that's going to slow down the gains. And I've seen it like a million times, and hopefully this will help you guys out a little bit. But most important time of the entire fucking day for you to gain muscle is post-workout. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.BioStrength.com's blog. It's the post-workout bicep. Fuck, can't get my sleeve up. And we are